Well, it seems to be okay. But it's taking up the. I can't do a live chat, I guess. But I can talk to you guys. Are you still there? Anyway, here I am. Drinking A&W. Well, all the roads that are around me are pretty much destroyed. So I'm going to just do a little thumbnail of this. There's somebody's house. Here we are in the deep green. This is the soccer mom band that Jesus gave me. And here's the logging road I live off of. And the driveway is my front lawn. It's the in and out. See all this stone? All of this is covered in 6 inches deep of this stone. It goes all the way down there to where those big trees are. That's where the death road is. And so here it is, May. It's May like 13th or something like that. And here is the standalone garage. And so I kind of was infiltrated the other night in the middle of a rainstorm by whatever, bears, Bigfoot, extraterrestrials. They stuck this thing, which is a refrigerator, doesn't really work. Like across here, I couldn't get to it. I just kind of push it off to the side. And so this is a ode to the holler folk. Anyway, enough of that. You can't see it anyway, so we'll leave it at that. Spaces and they get a bunch of stuff. And I can't see what you say, so it's not a live chat really. But you might be able to hear what I'm saying. I think I might go out and try and start again in about 2 minutes, but pass the word. I'm going to start up again and try and do a live chat. So have you noticed that your internet's not doing too well? That, people forgot that just a couple of weeks ago, Spain, Portugal, and good chunks of, oh, here he is. Here's our boy. There you are. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm on the show.
You're on the show.
Welcome to the show. That was the show that never ends. Step inside, step inside. Mm-hmm. Remember that? That's Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Or Emerson, Lake and Pomade. I used that. I now have the same hairstyle as you, so
yes.
Don't use pomade, everybody.
Yeah,
hurts your scalp. I used to use New Nile.
Is that the stuff that
they still make New Nile anymore? New Nile was found in the, well, I don't know if it was more racist times or more honest times, but it used to be called the Ethnic Hair Care Department. They don't have that anymore.
No.
That might make somebody turn to a pile of fear.
Yeah. So you don't want to. That's 2D, 2DEI.
I don't know what that means. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's really DEIA.
I think it's
accessibility.
Yeah, I think it causes more division.
D is
for, they mean
D
well.
is for diversity. E is for I don't know. I think is for something. Is equity start with an E?
I have no idea. I avoid that like plague.
Diversity, equity, and the I is
competency, I believe.
Yeah, whatever.
Inequity.
Inequity, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that the general public doesn't realize what, no matter what their gender or color is, they're a nigger.
Correct.
See, folks, you don't understand that.
Well, unless you're at the top of the pyramid.
But see, anybody that you see, like, Elon Musk, or the chucklehead billionaire cabinet, or our fearless leader, Carrot Turd, they're niggers too. Even though they're totally want to be white people.
The people that we see on the screen are not those who actually
are in charge. No,
they're just a puppet.
Just a puppet. So my one of my sisters who wants me to do stem cell. She's selling stem cells, so
I think they have those at Coney Island too, next to Nathan's hot dogs.
Yeah, but
extra stem cells.
I have these issues for at least the last 10 years. And it's not till recently that she said, "Oh, I'll send you some, but I want you to be my salesman. You can use them, but show people how much you've gotten better. And let's start selling." She wanted to turn me into.
When did this happen?
Yes, wanted to turn me into part of the pyramid thingamajig.
Well, did you accept her offer, or did you?
Oh yeah, no, I did. I have to find a place she can mail the stuff to, because she said she's too busy to go to the post office, so I have to find an address that.
She doesn't want you to come to her to get the.
Well, she's.
I don't know. What do they do with those things? Embalm people with them?
I have no idea. Yeah, they said that there's patches that you kind of stick on your skin and it works.
Oh wow! I guess I'm kind of behind the times.
You're behind the times, buddy. Did you ever use those patches that take the heavy metals out of your body? The Chinese had some great ones. You'd put them on your feet and go to sleep. And when you'd wake up, there'd be all this black cookie shit on your feet.
I've heard of that, but I never knew stem cells.
Yeah. Well, this is
infusion via dermal patch.
A dermal patch, right? So, well, she's offering.
That sounds like I know something.
I'm ready to try it out, and she said, "Oh, it'll work. It'll fix your heart." I said, "Really? It'll physically fix a broken valve?" Anyway,
can I do anything for diabetes?
Who knows? All I know is
it's amazing how they finally, well, not finally, but I remember back in the day when the whole stem cell research was, the so-called religious types were against it. There was a whole bunch of insanity going on.
Well, because they get the stem cells from aborted fetuses.
Right. But the point was, I kind of had a feeling that wouldn't be a barrier for much longer.
No, it wasn't. My sister.
And again, like you said before about us being, the N-word.
Right.
Or regarded as such by the masters of world, the globe. Nothing happens under the control grid.
Right. That does
not benefit the mechanism.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So there's got to be a reason that stem cell research has been allowed to happen.
Yep, exactly.
And I would imagine maybe longevity for the workforce.
Yeah,
you could work at 90. Here, take your Super Zappo fucking patch, and you'll live an extra 100 years, so we can exploit you more. It could be a bunch of stuff. But there is benefits, and take advantage of it. Please
was
do.
a movie
I'm
put
not
out.
telling you not to.
I mean, the best movie I ever thought that really captured the dystopian nature of things was Blade Runner.
That's definitely in there. Yeah, a lot of stuff
Because-
from that film came to fruition.
Yep, because it was like everyone was still eating at pop-up, truck restaurants and running around,
Right.
but it was always raining, meaning they were giving us a subtle tip of the hat to global warming or slash serious weather changing going on the
Mhm.
planet. And there's that scene where they go see the really richest guy who invented the clones, right?
Yeah,
And they drive into his
Terrell
neighborhood.
Corporation.
Yes, and it's just mile after mile after mile after oil cracking plants, fire and toxic exhaust, and out on the edge of it is this castle where this guy lives with all these genetically engineered toys.
Well, that's the other guy that's
Right.
part of Terrell
Right.
Corporation,
Yeah.
Sebastian.
So I
forget
mean,
the
I thought
last.
that caught the whole. If he doesn't look like a mixture of Neon and Faceless Boy and Micro
Yeah.
Penis and
Who's Faceless Boy?
all of those chuckleheads in the cabinet.
Oh, I've never heard of Faceless Boy.
Facebook, Faceless Boy.
Oh, Zuck.
Doesn't he look like he doesn't have a face? It's just a.
He looks like basically a blank slate with eyes
He
and a
looks
slit
like
for the mouth.
a flatworm.
You should check out the Door Brothers videos. They're hilarious.
Door Brothers. Okay.
Yeah, they take AI video and they make like political commentary about like all of those people that you mentioned, and it's really hilarious. And they usually have like really horrible rap music over it, and they like have like Elon, and they're all like dressed like gangsters and they're shooting each other and stuff. It's quite hilarious.
What is the
Quite
name of
hilarious.
those guys?
DOR Door Brothers.
Door Brothers.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes, good stuff. Really hilarious. I mean, they're not left, they're not right. They make fun of all.
Right.
And they'll have Zuck. They always try to represent him as some kind of a lizard. Like he'll have a tongue flitting out of his mouth, or he'll actually be turning into some kind of reptoid. And it's quite hilarious. They're quite fun.
Yep. Door Brothers. Yep. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah.
I will go.
And they got like Kamala drinking and driving and shooting guns out of a window.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
And they got Hillary Clinton.
Well, I was telling all my
her thing.
folks who are all scared about Donald Trump being a fascist. I said, no.
Donnie Dome.
I said, this guy is
fascist. He wouldn't even know what the word. He doesn't even know what the word means.
But what he is, he's a used car salesman, and his new job is, a game show host, and his job is to rejigger the norm. So he's just setting up the bowling alley, the pins, for the next person to really rock the.
Well, that's what each president does.
Right, and I would say that the next or the president that's going to be Satan will be a genetically engineered Hillary Clinton.
Right. It won't actually be the original template. It won't be some kind of amalgam.
Right. Just her stinky bullshit.
Yeah, maybe they'll just have some super political weirdo genetic creature.
Right. That's it.
It looks like a humor that'll have the worst aspects of every politician.
Yep, exactly. Yep, the worst aspects of everything. Yeah. And
yeah, sounds exciting, man.
Yeah.
Watch it burn, baby. It's okay.
And that's the beauty of.
So I try to tell people we're all going home. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, it might hurt a little bit before you make the transition, but then as soon as you pass out, you'll reawaken.
Right.
Don't know what it's going to look like for you, but we're all going home.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying throw yourself in front of a bus or
right.
do anything foolish.
Right.
But we're all going home.
One way or the other.
That's that.
Right.
One way or the other, we're going home anyway. So try not to pay too much attention.
Don't get messy. Don't get upset.
Don't get upset.
So my sis, when we were talking about this, and she's going on, and I keep telling her, because she's known me my whole life. I've been like Al.
This is your sister. Yeah.
And so, and she's the one closest.
What's her name?
She was the youngest until I came. There were two. I'm sure my mother was using a coat hanger on the other two before I shot out. And because my parents weren't really evil. They just never should have been parents.
That was my situation.
Right. And so.
They're just traumatized people who were lied to and told that they would be happy if they had children.
Right.
And deep down, they probably knew that this was a responsibility that they could not handle.
And at least my mom spent 20 years having a great time with her life, being a woman in the 20s and 30s and 40s.
She was a flapper.
No, she ran
she ran a speech
Roosevelt Hospital. She was she was Adolf Hitler in Marilyn Monroe's body, and all those guys whose names were on the door, they were useless puddinheads. They were rich, ne'er-do-wells, and so to save their butts, she ran everything. So no one had money, but a lot of people had power and stuff. So she had a gigantic apartment when they built Forest Hills, right? Where the tennis court is and the stadium and all that.
That's where the Ramones are from.
Yeah. So she had this gigantic, it had a ballroom. It had 15 bedrooms. It was like...
How many balls could you fit in?
She was running the nursing school, and she was bringing the nurses there, and they would have balls with the rich millionaires. And the girls would have really nice dresses, and they would ball all night long. And my mom got lots of juicy tidbits out of that.
Also known as a sack attack.
Yes, and so she had a lot of power. So
she saw a lot of balls, and she had a lot of. She was like the Jeffrey Epstein of her day.
Yes, the female version. That's my mom.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey
was a hell of a mom.
Yes, but she was just a throwaway toy. He was just a throwaway toy. My mom was power. Everyone was scared of her. 30 years after that, when I was a teenager, I broke my collarbone, and she goes, "Let's go." And we walked down Park Avenue. We went into a Park Avenue, bone surgeon kind of guy. She walked right in his office, and he goes, "Oh, you don't have a reservation." And she screams at this guy named, "Larry!" And he comes out, "Oh, Wilma, what do you want?" And this is 30 years since the last time he's ever seen her. And she goes, "My son, this collarbone's broken. Take an X-ray, set it." And the nurse lady at the desk, Nurse Ratchet, was pissed off and didn't, only she could yell at Larry that way, not my mother. And so the guy did it. Took the X-ray, said, "Oh, it's just clean." Put it there. He's taped it there. He says, "Okay, it'll be a little sore in about about a week. It'll be fine. Come back, take another X-ray. We'll see how well it's doing." And then, so we're walking out, and the woman goes, "That'll be $125." And my mother goes, "Larry!" And he runs, No, it's on the house." That was my mother.
So are you going to visit your sister?
Am I going to visit my sister? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, she's in Texas, so no, I'm not going there.
Oh. I keep trying to use the force to get you to come to New York City. So forget about Texas.
Right. I mean,
you're coming to New York. That's the magic is being.
Yeah. Especially if you say I can stay on your couch.
I don't have a couch, so therefore that will not happen.
Oh, okay.
But there is a beautiful place in Staten Island waiting for you. That I will help you exterminate vermin, and we'll make fun of John while we're doing it.
I told you that ABC No Rio had a big whoop-de-doo, and because I wasn't there, people going, "Where's Al?" And all the other two people who helped start it, who weren't there, were dead. They said, "Is Al dead?" And then I got a call from the New York Times wanting to see if I was dead. Did I tell you that story?
No, I know that ABC No Rio has been doing a lot of sort of remember when. And
yeah, historical stuff. And Becky, who is the last on the board, she said, there were like about 20 photos. I mean, I took thousands of pictures, and I gave everyone a copy of everything. I mean, that's part of my shtick. And because when you're doing it, it's no big deal to run off another 10 prints and give them away, and everyone thinks that's great. And 50 years later, some will be left where they'll put them up in the museum, and you get a little credit. Anyway, so Becky she's coveting all those photos. So she finally, I said, "Well, Beck, the only way you're going to get them is you got to come to Tennessee." So she's figuring that one out. Maybe you can hitch a ride with her. I don't know. Or maybe I might hitch a ride back to New York City with her. But
I don't leave.
I'm in a very beautiful place. There is no roads that easily get me in and out. So it's nice. It's quiet. There's nobody there. It's like the good old days. And I'm going to, this summer, it is green as ever been. Spring has been earlier. The leaves have been stronger. The insects haven't really devoured everything yet. Usually by this time, there's holes in everything, but there aren't as many. There are no animals, and there aren't half the insects. I don't know what that is, but that's something there. Can you hear the vehicles drive on by?
I hear some kind of chimes or something. Then I hear vehicles.
Well, there's chimes right next to my head, so maybe Mike's.
All right, so I am hearing the chimes, and I am hearing the cars. I'm not having a stroke. Okay, good.
Yeah, you're not having a seizure,
no, not yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm looking forward to that, but so far I haven't got it. I heard they're very interesting if you survive.
What was that?
I said I heard strokes are very interesting if you survive.
Who can survive?
Not too mangled up after.
It's interesting about this road that where I'm sitting at right now. This restaurant opened about 30 years ago, and about 25 years ago, I had a girlfriend who lived semi-close to this, so I used to come here all the time. But now this is kind
of happened to her?
This is on the other corner of the county, so I don't come here unless I'm heading this way. So anyway, it's interesting. I'm sitting right where I sat 25 years ago. 25 years ago, the house across the street that's like basically burnt had a bunch of very nice family and kids. And now, like I said, it's a burnt old building. And you would sit here and a car wouldn't come by for 20 minutes to an hour. And now there's a car there's a big truck every 40 seconds. Right? And so that's what's happening in this neck of the woods. It's going bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, we're all going home, so.
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
It's going to be all right. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just chronicling and documenting.
Have some Twinkies and go to sleep with the rest of us.
So how was your, I wanted to know how your experience with being born again was.
Oh, I don't know really what to think. It was, I kind of feel like I've done it so many times throughout the course of my life. This was just more of a, like just a ceremony.
Well, that's
but, I prepared myself, and I guess the best way to describe it was one of my friend Cynthia, who's like a spiritual director to me. I had shared with her a story about how my dad, when he was involved with the evangelicals, that he shared the story with me, like, because I used to do hands-on healing at that particular church.
Yeah.
And my dad really was kind of nervous to go up there and have that done. And it took him a while to, pluck up the courage go in front of the church. You know, there's tons of people, everybody's speaking in tongues, and it's all kind of carry on. So he did it, and he told me, he's like, you know what, I felt nothing. And I shared that story with my spiritual director, and she made a very, at least an astute comment, as far as I can understand. She said, you got to bring something to it. And what was really interesting is the pastor gave us some instruction, the group of us who were being baptized. It's a nice big pool, you know, one at a time. We kind of, walked down into this pool that had steps and stuff. But he said, listen, you gotta kind of concentrate and understand why you're doing this. You're doing this to emulate the death and resurrection of your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. When you're immersed, that's when you're kind of dead. Then you come to, right? Coming through the water. And he said, and some other really tried to concentrate. There was much sincerity, and I have great faith in Christ. I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. And when we're asked all these things, do you renounce Satan? Do you believe that Jesus is your Lord and Savior? All this stuff, and I answered them quite, affirmative, and I do deny Satan, and I was weeping openly, which was cool. And then, they dump you. But like I said, the pastor had given us those instructions to kind of, have in our consciousness what we're doing, while we're getting dunked. He said, because if you don't, it's just, you just took a bath. You could have done this at home. And I appreciate that. So I guess that's a long answer, but I'm glad I did it. But I want to continue to keep in my consciousness why I did it. And originally I wanted to get baptized once my marriage ended, because I see it as sort of a gate to walk through to start my new life. And a lot of things, and a lot of people, places, things that I've let go of to just really accept my death and rebirth in a new life. Not just with Jesus Christ, but the life that I have now. A lot of things have changed. So that's my little spiel.
Sounds good to me.
Listening to the Door Brothers, very good. They're not rappers. That's just music that they have to use for their videos. They're quite good.
Just giving you a background music there. And no one's watching the show. I don't know whether it's there's a thing here. It says something went wrong, but it's still saying that I got a live show going. So who knows? And I'm gonna bail from this and try it again.
I'm glad we connected, brother.
Well, stay there for a second.